There are so many things wrong, insensitive, unethical about that headline that it smacks of merely being clickbait and being salacious. Okay, because something has been on my mind from last week, all right? About a couple of days ago, news broke that a 14-year-old girl was killed by a 21-year-old man. And, it broke my heart severely. Broke my heart because when I think about such a young child, a young little girl whose life was taken, was snuffed out by a man, 21-year-old man, it perturbed me, it hurt me, and it saddened me. But what was even more of a heartbreak and disappointment was the headline I saw where it said that lover slays 14-year-old. And I said to myself, there are so many things wrong, insensitive, unethical about that headline that it smacks of merely being clickbait and being salacious. First of all, a 14-year-old child cannot have a lover. A 14-year-old child has a rapist. A 14-year-old child cannot consent to sex at all. So even if she quote unquote consented to a relationship, consented to sex, under the law, a 14-year-old, anyone under the age of 16 years, cannot consent to sex. And so when I saw that, it really irked me. And it was much to my chagrin because I'm wondering to myself, how irresponsible are we or can we be? The headline should have been more along the lines of 14-year-old murdered by rapist. And we have to be very cognizant and be very cautious and careful of what we write and how we write. Because you don't want to denigrate people and their children because they might not be from the upper echelon of society. A child and a life is a life. Matters not where you come from. And so it cannot just always be about being salacious, clickbait, and what gonna catch the hype and what's gonna catch eyes quickly. Lover slays 14-year-old? When? A 14-year-old cannot have a lover. And then it begs the question, is it that when children or people from the lower economic strata of society are wronged, harmed, maimed, or murdered, the salacious headlines can be put out? But when it seems to be people from the upper echelon or of a certain skin color or hue, care is taken as to how a headline is written and what is written. Human beings all are we. And we have to be very responsible and careful about how we post certain headlines. And I want to take this time out to say, I'm going to do a show, by the way, because, even for vloggers and bloggers, when they take parts and portions of people's shows and splice it and misrepresent and use people's footage and intellectual property without their permission, that is a legal problem, and you could face legal problems for that. You cannot just go on people's shows and take things or use people's images, whether it be still or or it be a video, and use it in your video or use it on your page or use it on your site and misrepresent deliberately what people say because the detergent them out there who just want to log on upon certain things to vilify people and to spill their vitriolic statements and to spread their venom. Fraudulent misrepresentation. And so people take a lot of license to do things that they're not even aware that they are dangling and they're playing with fire. Because for a lot of people, it may seem like, yeah, man, a lot of that you vex about. No, I don't know nothing of that. But when people have worked hard to build their name, to build their career, build their life, and in one fell swoop, you, with your quarter brain cell, because you're appealing to the lowest denominator in people, you think you can take what somebody says and plaster it all over the place and misrepresent what they say, because you know a lot of the people are so lazy, they are not going to find the entire video to watch it in its entirety to get the context and the true representation of what the person was saying. I saw the other day, it was done with the Honorable Prime Minister, where a piece of what he was saying or in an interview was said, and it was spliced and it was presented, and the furor that it caused, only to realize, and other persons realized it later, subsequently apologized, subsequently retracted statements because they did not watch the thing in its fullness. I have also been a victim of that. Pieces of my show are taken, put on a certain site, or put on certain places. People don't know what was said or the context in which it was said, and the hungry detergent them just descend pan it. But I true me I live up, and I true my mother pray for me, and you know what? Me I try walk the good, decent line. You understand, Calico? Because me I tell you, Father God, you see I know. You see I know. And I want people to understand that there are legal implications for doing things like that. You cannot just take people's intellectual property, splice and dice it for your own selfish gains at the expense of people's credibility and their life. That is wrong. And so when I see some of these headlines, especially with all that is going on with our young women, with children, the violence being meted against, or meted out rather, to children and women, to see a headline like that, it's disheartening. A 14-year-old cannot have a lover. She has a rapist who has taken advantage of her. So I want our media houses, and everybody, and even me, and, we have to just be very mindful of how we put things, and then it's going to seem like, say, only poor people get presented in that, you're not take due care because, yeah. A 14-year-old cannot have a lover. That's illegal. She has a rapist. So we have to be careful of the clickbaits. I know everybody nowadays wants to be a journalist and everybody just interested in the hype and try to make a name, and me not understand because CNN still not call, and I don't know what to what avail. But there has to be some dignity and integrity in journalism, and we have to be very careful of what we say and how we say it. And even if we don't get it right, we must be able to be big enough to apologize if it is required for us to do so. When a child is murdered, parents are grieving, siblings are grieving, a community and the world has lost a valuable life. And trust me, guys, you don't want to see the pictures, being circulated. It's haunting, devastating. And to that mother and to that family, I send some positive energy, prayers, and strength. And I pray that God will continue to strengthen you through your time of bereavement. This is very difficult for any parent. And whether the picnic bad or whatever other kind of misguided rhetoric that wants to be used, you never know what's the cause or what's the reason. And at the end of the day, she's a child. And if anything at all, society has failed her, we have failed her, adults have failed her, those in her life, right? But then you don't exacerbate the situation by having a salacious headline, like that, right? So I just wanted for us to be mindful of that. And even in the social media space, people have to be very mindful of what you post about people and what you say. And just also, let me just hasten to say this, because a lot of people say, so me, come out, so me, come out, it. You will go to jail. When we enforce a judgment, if you don't have it, judgment debtor, yes, jail, okay? Yeah, it's very possible. So don't think that, oh, because you don't have it and you're lucky, come sue me. Yep, if you don't have it, the judge, in his or her wisdom, the law provides for it, that you can be imprisoned for it, right? So this bravado, and you're lucky me not have it. You're lucky me not have it, so because me not have nothing, not a problem. It's fine. Yeah. Jail is there. Yeah. That's how it goes. There has to be a rule of law. So people can't just get up and say what they want to, or treat with how they want to treat with people's intellectual property. Use your pictures, use your videos in their videos, and use the videos for to inure to their benefit. And at the same time, cutting you down, misrepresenting what you have said or what your intentions were to suit their own selfish needs. So we're going to do a show to explore all of that, just so to put people on notice as to what goes on. I know that Jamaica is not a very litigious society, but the laws are there, and they can be and will be enforced. So people have to just be mindful. Yes, everybody wants to eat a bread and everybody a hustle, but it cannot be at the expense of other people and their credibility and what they have done and what they have built. And you come like a leech, like a parasite, like a locust, to suck the lifeblood out of what people have worked so hard and so diligently to build. You hear one piece of a story and you splice it and you cut it to paint the people in a bad light. And you know what hurt me, Calico? They never want to splice the good things. Never. They never want to post the positive things. They never want to post the things that are uplifting and edifying. They always want to post that little part that puts the person in a bad light or will make the hungry detergent them come down in droves. Right? On people. But when it's positive, no, that doesn't go viral. No, no, no. When it is uplifting and edifying, no, no, no. Bloggers and vloggers tend not to want to post those things. No, no. Because they're not going to get the likes or the, what the likes or the what? The views. The view. Haha. That's it, Calico. The views, right? A lot of them are going to be viewing from the courthouse or from behind bars. Yeah. From behind bars. So when you're going to use somebody's photo, you're going to use somebody's video, on your site, on your page, in your story, in your vlog, or in your blog, especially to denigrate them and to misrepresent them fraudulently, Houston, we got a problem. And it cannot be business as usual. Can't do that. And in the same way, if they would even balance the scale, Calico, so you post something negative, post the good things to know. But no, that's not your modus operandi. What you want to do is berate people and tear people down. Because many of them are troglodytes. So that's what, and miscreants. So that's the aim. And that's the purpose. It's not to inform. It's not to educate. No, man. You want to paint somebody in a bad way. You want to bring down people. So you do that. And as I always say, you not bring down your mother. You not bring down your father. We don't know all now, and you're 22, and you don't know your father, you're 35, and you don't ask your mother all know all the birth paper, something go, because you don't have any, and why you don't have no christening paper. You know, talk that part there. So, like, for example, no, Calico, that's what they do. So, I will say that part right there, and they will splice that right there, and totally disregard everything that I said before, and everything that I'm saying after. You know, that's what they do. Yeah. And that's obnoxious, and abhorrent, and disgusting. But we're going to do a show to delve deeper into it. So put the bloggers and the vloggers and the people on notice. So you can't use my picture in your video, whether you're an upcoming artist, a senior citizen, or a dinosaur. You can't do that. You can't just do that. You have to get people's permission. What if people don't want to associate with you at all? Nobody wants to associate with you on your site. Nobody's looking for likes. Cheap likes. Because as I tell you, the only place more them like me are in the bank. More them like me down at the land title place. Yeah, there's some more you like me. You understand? And the people who genuinely love and support me, those are the people to whom with whom I deal. Right? Me don't know platypus have me in them video or upon them site or upon nothing at all. I don't know you. Why you doing that? And as I'm saying, Calico, it's never to big up. It's never to edify or to support or paint people in a positive light. 90% or 99% of the time, it's always the negative stuff. It's the bad stuff. Look how many positive things we have done over here. And not that I care. Come me not care. Again, eagle and chicken no mix. So, you're not there. Because as me tell you, if a person make up their mind to hate you, they're gonna hate you regardless. Even if you say good morning, they're gonna hate you. Okay? If they have made up their mind to hate you, they are going to hate you regardless. And there's nothing that you can do about that. And my job is not to make everybody like me. And it's fine. I'm not here for a liking competition. Because I know the bigger your flight, or sorry, the higher your flight, the bigger the fight. So you have to be comfortable. Remember in a calico, and Nanny alone as a woman, as a general, make the heroine list. I shall make the hero list. Me not hear lady, nobody, lady gloves, lady dress, lady shoes, lady nobody, lady she, lady die, lady Angie, lady Bev, no lady, no make the heroine list. And the woman will bust it up on the boy them and deal with them biliously. Okay? So we have to understand these things. But at the end of the day, it is ungodly and unconscionable to have these kinds of headlines that insult and just really, further and deepen the wound and rub salt into the wound. So let us all try to be careful. We're not perfect and we all will say things and step out and so, but let us just be mindful of these things when we're writing, when we're saying, because you never know who you might be affecting, all right? And as for that lady who got injured, that elderly lady who got assaulted, that broke my heart as well. And I just want to appeal to security officers or the other types of officers out there. Please be respectful of the elderly. Please be respectful of the elderly. Before you assault or disrespect an elder, you better just walk away and leave it. Before you have to resort to that, unless it is that you have to defend yourself and it is a last resort. But before you have to assault an elderly who could be your grandmother or your great grandmother or your mother, just walk away, left that, no, madam. It's not worth it. And it don't look good, it don't sound good. And God not pleased with them something there. Alright? So, I'll leave you all with that today.